This can be argued is the inverse of what we just discussed. So this is a situation where we can kind of point out how men, certain men, not all men, but this is an instance in which we as men can do ourselves a disservice. So we are going to talk about. So basically, if you want to cue it, is it queued up to make sure that like there's no ad that's gonna play?
Mhm.
Okay. So basically, this is a female who was in the gym working out, and she was recording herself working out because that's what women at the gym do these days. And there was a guy who came up, tried to holler at her, and he not only did he try to holler at her in the gym, but he did so in a rather crass way. And so she posted it, and she basically made a mockery of him and talked about how, gym harassment is something that needs to be pointed out at all costs. And this is what not to do, guys. So we'll go ahead and play this, and then we'll talk about this one once it's done.
This is what happens every booty day.
You know that every day I would like you right there now. All that booty. Damn, bro.
Damn, girl.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's nice and sweet. So yeah, if you didn't catch that, she was doing some kind of lower body workout. Old boy came up to her, and he was like, "Every man would like to have you in that position. Don't you know? Every man would like to have you in that position." And she kind of, in tongue in cheek, laughed it off. And she posted it afterwards, talking about how this is gym harassment, and until men, and you can read that caption right there. No amount of negative comments on any platform will stop me spreading awareness about gym harassment and poor gym etiquette because this is wild. The sooner, parentheses, some men realize they can't just say and act how they wish, the better. So to her credit, she did. She didn't give the impression that she was talking about all men. She did. She did use the word some to make it clear that she understands that not all men do this, but that some men do this. However, whenever you post this, even if you recognize that it's only some men, whenever you post these types of things, it can give off the impression that it happens more often than not. Because otherwise, why would you have to post about it? So yeah, she posted it, and it's gym harassment. Now I will kind of side with her. I do think that it does men a disservice to act in this way, but this is what happens when you have a society full of men who have social atrophy. When you don't know the right and most effective ways to assert yourself towards women, you get situations like this where now a woman can use that as an opportunity to point out how men act in bad faith. And so I think that it would behoove us as men to understand how to not do stuff like this. Because you have to know, as a guy, it's important to know that when you walk up to a woman in the gym and you tell her that a man would love to have you in that position, she does not find that endearing. That's not necessarily something that she wants to come into contact with when she's working out at the gym. And when you do that, you're basically sending a signal to women in the gym that this is what all men are on, especially all men in the gym are on this type of stuff. And so you're kind of hurting the cause, bro. And I don't think this is a message that you want to send. I don't think you want to send this message to women, and I also don't think that you want to send this message to other men who are trying to figure this thing out. Because the next guy who does this is going to be met, I think, with the same reaction. I don't know. Not every chick is going to post about this, but in her mind, she's going to find it to be gym harassment. And the less of us out here being perceived as harassers, the better. So that was kind of initially what I thought about that.
Yeah,
I took this as, and I agree with all of that, honestly. And I just took this as, yeah, like how you said, basically the social atrophy, the inability to shoot an appropriate shot. So this guy was double, triple teamed, and he still took a shot.
Yeah,
Uh, and
yeah,
so it's just one of those things of, hey man, there's good shots, there's good bad shots. Crazy as that sounds, there's good bad shots.
yeah,
But
sure.
when you're falling away from 36 feet and three people are draped over you, good luck if you're gonna make that. And so this woman is, she has her phone, she's recording herself. That's a defender. She doesn't want to be bothered. She probably has headphones on, right? She doesn't want to be bothered. That's another defender, right? She's not even near you. You had to walk all the way up there. That's another defender.
Yeah,
And so you went through all of that and shot your shot. Of course, you're going to look like a fool. And this guy here, I don't know who this works on. Every woman that I talk to, man, friends, homegirls, personal relationships, and stuff like that, they all have this level of I want to be comfortable first. And for every woman, and this goes in a bedroom too. They like to be warmed up first before you just go ahead and start doing what you wanted to do. And so this guy just came in, no lube, everything dry, came straight at her and just tried to do his thing. And a woman needs to be warmed up first. She has to know who you are. She has to see you in there, be comfortable around you enough for you to even say anything remotely close to what he just said. And even if, honestly, if this was a situation where they would, be friends and cordial in the gym, this would have ruined it. So I don't know what kind of shot he was shooting. It would seem ridiculous, but I see this all too often where guys who don't have the appropriate equipment try to get a job done like this. And this guy has no shot. Don't you know every guy would love to have you? I mean, of course, but what is she supposed to say to that? Hey, here's my number. You can put me in this position. Like,
I don't know what you think is gonna happen after that. Yeah,
yeah, I don't know what he's got going on. So it's this type of stuff. I totally agree. I would see this stuff all the time in the lines at the club. We'll be in the line at the club, and hell, we're gonna be here for the next 30 minutes, and it's starting to get a little chilly out here. Let's start introducing each other. So I would just meet the girls in line. I don't need to talk to the dudes. So I'm talking to the girls in line. Everything's fun and everybody's having a good time. Can I shoot my shot? I can. There, one from the outside will low key say that these girls are flirting with me or whatever, but I'm just trying to pass time in line. And then here comes some guy who sees that these girls have opened up and they're feeling comfortable. They immediately try to come in and shoot shots and just make it weird and just shoot, shut the whole damn thing down. So my thing is that guys, man, we really need to, as a unit, um, control the thirst. And for these thirsty dudes out here, these are our bad faith actors,
yeah,
and these are the guys that are out there that are doing man wrong. And it's just like, hey, bro, I get it. That's what you say to your boys. You don't say that to a woman. And nowadays with stuff like that, of course, it's going to be considered harassment. You know, I think harassment is more of a thing if it's like pervasive, consistent.
I just think that we live in a world like the world runs on social media now. So I just think things need to be given titles and labels. So that's where the whole like gym harassment. It's gym harassment is like Me Too. Is
Yeah,
like
yeah,
things just get these titles and labels so they can be used as hashtags. That's all that is. I would not call that harass. He was not harassing her.
right.
Was he being crass, and was he being an ineffective, like you said, was he being ineffective at shooting his shot? Yes. Was he being crass? Yes. Was he being lame in his attempt? Sure, but it wasn't harassment.
Right.
But it's just called harassment because we just got to call everything something so that we can post about it these days. Like that's because he said what he said and walked off. He's not harassing her.
Right.
But that's just where that comes from. It's the social environment that we live in. That's just kind of the way the world is these days.
Yeah.
Movements and things need names and titles and labels so that they can be posted about.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
and so yeah, and I see that angle, and so yeah, I just think that dudes overall, man, um, that are doing this stuff, lacking self confidence or whatever, watch too much pornography or whatever. Um, I think this is the kind of guy that will have an OnlyFans, and again, I'm not trying to stigmatize people, but this is the kind of guy who, nah, he's used to seeing this on the internet before he hits. So this is what he says before or after he hits the like button on Instagram. So just like how you say, oh yeah, these girls go to the gym and they like wearing these things, and well, not wearing these things, but filming themselves. I don't know if all of them are going to social media platforms, but the thing is, a lot of it end up doing it. And so he just basically said whatever popped in his brain before or after he likes an image of, damn, any guy would love to have her in that position. Let me go ahead and tell her this is a hell of a compliment. She'll love the fact to hear that. And it's like, no, dude, she doesn't want to hear that. That's creepy. That's weird. And honestly, it sounds like she needs to have her mace when she leaves the building. She's going to have it. Nah, that's weird. So, yeah, man. So you have to, for guys out there that, still on the fence, man, you still on the cusp. You're still trying to wean yourself off of OnlyFans lifestyle or something. Right? Yeah, man. Just know
I'm trying to
that.
tell you.
Yeah,
I'm
hey,
trying to tell you, man.
all women love to be lubed up first before you do anything, and that's with anything. All right, so you gotta lube them up. So the bedroom shows you that firsthand. That's just with that area, but they're like that in all facets of their life. And so the reason why they don't feel appreciated because you don't lube them enough. The reason why she doesn't feel like you love her or whatever, you're not lubing her enough. Now, granted, I'm not asking anybody to be some do boy weirdo or whatever, but you still have to make her comfortable as well, at the same time. And so women require certain levels of massaging to keep them interested and engaged. But if you just ramming away doing whatever you want, then at this point we're no different than those girls that want to go out of town to Miami. So at some point you do have to listen to the person that you're talking to and make sure that you keep them satisfied in the ways that they like to be satisfied. And women are very particular. They're not like dogs, they're more like cats. So their needs are different than ours. And one of their needs is to be more warm whenever you meet them and whatever. You can be confident and still shoot your shot at the same time. You can't be this guy level of confidence and shoot your shot. That's when you shoot yourself in the foot. So, but yeah, I think that a good thing here as well is the lubrication of women, more or less in the sense of you got to warm them up to the idea of them wanting to even talk to you in the first place. This guy just came in raw dog, ready to go, no lube, and of course there's friction there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Um, that not the loop, the warming up thing that is transferable to life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why did you have a poor shooting night? Oh, I didn't warm up. Like, if you don't warm up and take your 30, 40, 50, 100 shots before the game, and you just go out there and you ain't warmed up, you're not going to have a rhythm. You're going to miss more shots than you make.
Yep.
It's simple. If you're a quarterback or if you're a receiver and you ain't go out there and run a few routes, get yourself warmed up, you're not going to be fast off of the line of scrimmage. It's not going to be the same game as if you're like, that's universal. That's a universal concept, mm-hmm. and it applies here. And the problem is people don't realize that it doesn't apply. You know what? This is an evolution of. I used to always think that I was weird because back when we were doing our clubbing days, the idea. And this was back when it was easier to meet women. It's much more difficult to meet them now. This was back in the, back when we were doing our stuff. Mm-hmm. Late 2000s into the mid 2000 teens and all of that. This was back then when we were out, when we were in the streets. Mm-hmm. The idea was, if you're a guy and you like doing things like going to clubs and social gatherings where large groups of women also go and congregate, the idea was to be completely devoid of strategy and play the numbers game. So the idea was you're not supposed to be strategic. Rather, you need to cast a wide net and just holler at as many women as humanly possible and try to get as many numbers as humanly possible. Because statistically, at least one or two of those, if you play the numbers game, are going to hit. Just because you went out there with reckless abandon. It's the Iverson game. Put up 30, 40, 50 shots in a game, and I averaged 25 to 30 a game. But you were inefficient. You averaged 30 a game because you shoot 40 damn times. That's not an efficient game. So that's what was playing out when it came to us doing this whole thing. I was never on that. And I looked around and I saw every other guy doing that. So I thought to myself, should I even be here? Because I do strategy. I go up to the plate. I don't swing at every pitch. I'm going to wait until the pitcher throws me the right pitch, and I'm going to swing and I'm going to hit the home run. So I might go out 10 times and not hit a home run. But on that 11th time, I'm going to hit a home run. And my home run is going to be worth more than the 30, 40, 50 missed swings that every other guy, went out to the plate and swung and missed all of those times. But that's what every guy was doing. That was the conventional wisdom. Play the numbers game, be devoid of strategy, don't institute strategy. So you're going out and you're just saying crazy stuff, grabbing at the girl, using pickup lines, one-liners. You're getting rejected 9 out of 10 times. And just because you get the one girl out of the 10 who takes you up on your advances, it means you got lucky that one time. But other than that, you were completely inefficient and you were just getting rejected all night. I, for the life of me, could not understand why, as a man, I was supposed to commit myself to a behavior that resulted in failure more than success. That never made sense to me. My whole thing was, and I came from a sports background. So for me, if I practice something enough times, I'm going to get good enough at it through practice and repetition that I'm going to be more successful than fail. That to me is what makes sense. I work at something a lot. I practice. That means I succeed more than I fail. But when it came to this women thing and going out here and just shooting a bunch of shitty shots, basically what the world was telling me, what other guys was telling me, what some of my own friends were telling me was, hey man, it's okay to just miss all the time. Be inefficient. Like, you shouldn't be trying to be efficient. And that never worked for me. I never understood that. This is the evolution of that. What this guy did in the gym is the evolution of that. And I've seen this play out. I go to the gym a lot. I'm a big gym guy. The gym is a big part of my life. I go 4 days a week, 12 hours a week, 3 hours a day. And I see this thing happening. I see guys doing this. This is the evolution. There's no logic or strategy or inherent social skills behind what they're doing. What they're doing is casting a wide net. And they're saying the results don't matter. What matters is the attempt. I could care less about what the results are. All I care about is the attempt. I'm just going to get the shots up. If it goes in, great. If it doesn't go in, I'll live with going 0 for 10 in a game and being inefficient and causing my team to lose because of how poorly I shot, because of how low my shooting percentage is. And like you brought up the OnlyFans thing, I completely believe that this guy probably be on Instagram and TikTok commenting on Instagram models' photos and videos, commenting and liking pics and just seeing if maybe one of these chicks will respond back, and they never do. They never do because they don't give a shit about your comments. They don't care about your likes. But he is living, and he looks like an older guy. So he isn't even a part of the generation that's being taught to live in this reality. He's just kind of adapting to it. He's just living his life through that prism. Like, this is how I conduct myself digitally. So this is also how I conduct myself in real life as well, in person as well. I don't play results. I just operate based upon my attempts. It doesn't matter what the results are. It's a formula that does not compute to success in any way whatsoever, but it's an evolution of the way that we have been sort of reared to conduct ourselves socially and culturally. And to me, it just doesn't make sense. It's just a problem because women respond to this. And so this is what causes the difficulty, because when you have enough women who have been subjected to this kind of thing on a
Mhm.
regular enough basis, now when they do go to the gym, they are completely closed off and they are defensive and they do have the deflector shield up and they do keep the headphones in and they don't make eye contact and they're not making an effort to look at you and smile and be friendly because they don't know if they do that, you're going to come up to them and say, I like you in that position. So we have screwed this whole thing. Like, honestly, I think that we've screwed this up. And like what disappoints me about, and I'm kind of going galaxy brain at the moment with this, but what disappoints me a lot about like these content creators and these guys who make these videos talking about how women are the bad guy all the time, they don't bring up the nuance. Like let's have the chicken or the egg conversation. Did women just start to close themselves off and be completely, absent of, inviting you in so that you can maybe have a conversation with them? Or did guys screw up the dynamic by just doing the most? Like, which one happened first?
Well, I mean, I tell you, bro, like this was back when I was in college, and we had some great discussions in college, by the way.
Yeah.
And so back when I was in college, the girls in one of my class, they were talking about guys shooting their shot and just how inconsiderate and just it doesn't matter what's going on. So girls would be like, man, I could be in my sweats, hair not done, bonnet on, whatever, going to take the trash out, walking their dogs, going to the mailbox. Like everything's an event for a woman because she doesn't know that a passerby in the car is honking, hey, red, hey. One girl on I think it was on TikTok. She person was like, I look like shit right now. I look like shit. One girl was pregnant on TikTok. The guy, and guess what the guy said, bro? Pardon my French, but the guy said, can I poke that baby in the head?
Oh my God.
Yeah, sorry, warning, graphic.
Oh my God.
That's what a guy said to a woman while she's pregnant. So she had to get on TikTok right after this guy shot that type of shot. There's guys out there doing this, and then when they come to talk to us, they're like, hey man, are you him? Are you that guy?
I don't even think they ask the question anymore. I think it's gotten to the point where they assume
that we're him.
Are. Yes, like you wonder, like, okay, so we bring up, and we used to always talk about the idea of meeting women in the daylight. Like, it's kind of counterintuitive. Like, yes, when you go to the club, meeting women is something that is a realistic proposition from the standpoint that there's so many of them in there. Mm-hmm. So there's such a heavy cluster of them in the same localized area that you can't help but try to meet them because there's so many of them there. But, and this speaks to your point about warming them up, really what's most conducive to actually meeting women and making connections is meeting them in environments where you can actually converse and where you can work on having them lower their deflector shield.
Thank you.
So the idea was about, okay, so how good are your social skills when it comes to meeting women in grocery stores or, in department stores or at the mall, public places like this? Like, are your social skills only geared towards meeting women in clubs and bars, places where honestly it's the most counterintuitive to meeting them? Or do you have a well-rounded game where it doesn't matter what environment you're in, you can adjust and adapt and assert yourself in an appropriate fashion based upon what your environment is? Mm-hmm. And so we used to talk about that. The problem is we have evolved and gotten to the point where you got a homeboy at the gym saying, I want you in that position. We've gotten to this point to where now, even in the daylight, women are reticent to even give you the remote impression that they want to be approached. So like now you got women in gyms and grocery stores and all of these kinds of places. They're constantly on the phone. They don't make eye contact. They don't give you those subtle context clues that would let a man otherwise know, I find this guy interesting. I wouldn't mind if he approached me. They used to do those things. Mm-hmm. They now no longer do them. Mm-hmm. And the question is, why don't they do it? in my opinion, they don't do it because they encounter enough of this that they just say, I don't even want to be bothered anymore. Like, I'd rather just give you the impression that I don't want to be bothered than to have to deal with that. So I'm not going to make eye contact. I'm not going to smile. I'm going to look down at my phone constantly. I'm going to be in my headphones constantly so as to not even give you the slightest possible window for you to come in and assert yourself. I think we've gone too far left with this stuff. And, I think it was the whole club movement, the whole catcalling movement, which was a thing, to be fair, because I saw it. I saw it play out. I just reckless abandon. I don't care. No strategy whatsoever. I'm just going to cast this wide net and just see how much of it sticks. And so, it's the combination of that combined with the advent of, the digital space and the internet, OnlyFans and Snapchat, TikTok, Instagram, whatever you want to name, basically rendering a lot of guys devoid of adequate social skills. So many of us are walking around with social atrophy. We don't know how to say, hi, how you doing? Hey, my name is so-and-so. Like, we don't even know how to do that anymore. Mm-hmm. And so the combination of those two things has created this environment where you got gym harassment and or Me Too, or just women in general who just kind of make it difficult for men to even shoot an appropriate shot in the first place. Because, this is kind of where we are. It's unfortunate, but I can't completely, if I'm going to be fair, and, let me not use the word fair, because I don't believe there's a such thing as fair, but, to be reasonable, if I'm going to place blame in some of these places, could women stand to loosen themselves up a little more if they are single and on the market and figure out ways to be more tact when it comes to showing men interest? Sure. But by and large, really, it's what we need to do to fix a lot of this shit. And what we need to do is learn the value of incorporating better, more adequate social skills into our repertoire so that we understand how to appropriately assert ourselves. I promise that if more of us as men did that collectively, we would see more women who would become more affable and willing to lower the deflector shield so that the idea of meeting women doesn't become something that at times can seem so far away and impossible. Regardless of whether you are a guy who does stuff like this or not. Unfortunately, we all suffer the consequences for this. It doesn't, whether you're a guy who does these things or not, we all have to deal with the ramifications of it. So it's like, if we just did better, a lot of this, in my opinion, would go away. It's a lot of dudes out there, man. And I'm gonna end it by saying this. A lot of us need to go watch the movie. What's the name of that movie? Damn, I'm gonna look it up. It's a movie with Ryan Gosling, where he's teaching. It's Ryan Gosling and Steve Carell. Steve Carell is like a guy in his 50s who got divorced, so he's been out of the game for so long that he doesn't even really know how to meet women. Ryan Gosling is a younger guy who's still in the game, so he's showing him the ropes. And like, there's a lot of good stuff in that movie that I think a lot of guys could stand to learn from when it comes to like the right ways, depending on the environment, to assert yourself when it comes to women. Because we need less gym harassment posts and more, oh, this guy is interesting. I met this cool guy at the gym, or I met this cool guy at Best Buy or Publix. We don't see enough of that nowadays. All we see nowadays is, gym, I'm going to speak up about this because gym harassment needs to stop, and it's where we get these fallacious labels like toxic masculinity. It's like, no, don't conflate masculinity with bad behavior. That's just bad behavior. That has nothing to do with that guy's level of masculinity or lack thereof. Because I'm a masculine man and I'm proud of it. And I'm not going to allow you to tell me that my masculinity is inherently toxic. No, I'm masculine. I just know the difference between right and wrong. That's just bad behavior. Don't tell me that that's toxic masculinity. Toxic masculinity is not a real thing. It doesn't exist.
Yeah, that name of that movie is called Crazy Stupid Love. By the way.
There you go. Yeah. Crazy Stupid Love. Yeah.
Yeah, and I haven't
Y'all
seen.
need to go watch that. I know, some of y'all, because a lot of, especially us, a lot of black people, oh, it's white people. No, get out of that. Okay. Yes, just go watch the movie. It will help you. Trust me, it can help you learn some. You'll learn some things from that. And I don't really shout movies out like that on a regular basis.
Right, you don't.
That one, that one is some real stuff for real. Like people need to go watch that.
I'll take a look at it. But yeah, so I guess the moral of this, because basically where I'm coming from is just warming them up, man. So if you're a dude, then you're like, hey, man, look, I be saying stuff like that, or on the spectrum of it, where it's just like, all right, well, cool. Well, just know that that's not cool, and they don't like it. I'm pretty sure you don't like your success rate either by saying stuff like that, and you just got to warm them up. So in this situation here, especially with gyms and stuff like that, even though I'm not like a gym goer, the times that I do go to the gym, there are situations where I do see a recurring person in there because we go at the same time.
Right.
And so if there is a thing, she's noticed you, or bro, they're like, you know what I'm saying? They're like crocodiles, bro. They see you before you see them type of thing.
They are the masters at not letting you know that they notice you.
Exactly. So once you saw her, bro, she already saw you. If she's interested, she'll let it be known, but you gotta let the situation warm up. And once the situation warms up and you finally do have an interaction with her, maybe y'all both at the water fountain, maybe y'all crossing the locker rooms at the same time or whatever, that's when you say your little friendly, playful stuff that you would say at a Walmart greeter. All right, Granny, she's 93 years old. You say that the same thing you would have said to Granny at the Walmart door, you say to her.
Yeah.
And for then at this point, she's gonna go, oh, here he comes. Here you go, everybody shoot a shot. And then you go, nice weather we're having. I'm not saying talk about the weather,
right.
Throw her off. Nice weather we're having, or hey, I can't believe they're actually having leg day, blah blah blah, And then that, and just keep it moving. At some point, you become the gym friend or the gym whatever. And if she's available for you, she'll let it be known that, hey, shoot this shot. Basically, it's like you come down court and you can shoot. You come down court and she's backing off. She's letting you shoot now. Just go hit that jumper wide the freak open. But if she's got her defenders on her, you know what I'm saying, with her, her phone, her headphones, a mean mug, don't shoot it.
She's not even, listen, if she's not even making eye contact.
Exactly. So my thing is, there is a way to warm this up. Basically, if y'all always go to the gym together, you kind of like work with her. So it's kind of like a work friend. You can just, you're going to catch her on the flip side. There's no rush to shoot a shot like how this guy was shooting. You know what I'm saying? And this seems thirsty. He's acting like he's never going to see this woman again. Apparently, he goes to this gym, and apparently, so does she. He will catch her again. Yes. Will he get play from this woman? Never again. And why is that? Because he didn't warm up the situation. You know what I'm saying? And so this is not the nightclub. This is not a bar. So one-liners like this may not help you. If they do work for you, just know who it worked on. You set out a trap out here for a specific type of thought. And a whole bunch of women pass by this thing, and only one bit, hey, you gonna wife that up? You gonna do, you know what I'm saying? So what are you doing? What kind of bait are you putting out there? Are you gonna really find yourself something that's stable and solid, or are you getting some slider? Because if you're gonna do that, just go to the club. You know what I'm saying? Go to the club, get a slider, and then if you're ever doing this gym thing or broad day stuff, the person works at a store that you always go to or whatever. If you're always there and she always sees you, or you guys see each other enough, there's no reason to shoot so aggressively. And the only thing you have to do is just let it be known that you are interested, and then she'll reciprocate that. Once she lets you know, she backs off and allows you to shoot. You'll feel it when she allows you to shoot. And just like how Jay said, with either the eye contact or she's just in your vicinity all the time, hey, she wants you to say something. So I get it, man. You're not gonna win unless closed mouths don't get fed. I get it. You know what I mean? But at the same time, there does need to be some type of balance when you're out there doing these things, because whenever I do hear those stories for those girls walking to the trash or to get their mail, walk into the clubhouse and they're getting quote unquote harassed, we might as well call it that, and then the same thing where, oh yeah, well fuck you then, because you didn't want to give the number up. It's like, bro, I'm not even here. I literally just woke up and I went to get my mail. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a wild thing where we got a lot of bad faith actors in our community as well, and they make us as a whole look thirsty. And so yeah, how can they tell the difference, right? When we start talking to them and they're like, hey, are you one of those thirsty guys, or are you one of those guys that act cool for the first 2 months and then flip the game on me? Like, which one are you? So we got enough bad faith actors out there, but the solid dudes stay solid. But if you're out there struggling, man, and you're shooting these shots fading away 36 feet away with 2-3 defenders draped on you, cut it out. I'm honestly, bro.
Yeah. I remember back when I was a little more naive, I used to really take pride in the fact that I was a strategy guy over a swing for the fences guy. I used to take a lot of pride in that. I used to take pride in being different. And I used to believe that my being different was a tool in my toolkit that I could use to my advantage, because I thought, oh, women are going to think I'm cool because I'm not doing what they're doing. Right. But what I quickly realized is they don't know the difference. So like at face value, I learned this a long time ago. And that's why I stopped thinking this way. I gave it up. At face value, women don't know the difference between a guy who's cool versus a guy who doesn't. They don't. They do not have those types of perception skills. They don't have it. So like when you're out and you're a strategy guy, and you're in the midst of guys who aren't strategy guys, you thinking that the chick is going to notice you because you're being strategic, it's not going to happen, because they don't know the difference. They don't. The only thing that they do know is if you have adequate social skills and you assert yourself in an appropriate way, they will be able to tell that that is not what they would call or categorize as harassment. And even then, once they realize that that's different, or that approach is different, it still does not guarantee conversion. It still doesn't guarantee that she's going to be interested. It still does not guarantee success. But what it does guarantee is your self-respect and your dignity. Right. And that should be enough for you to be able to reconcile. That should be enough of a reconciliation in the event that the situation did not work to your benefit from a success standpoint. But to just go in there and just say and do whatever because you just have no modicum of strategy or decorum to your game whatsoever, like you're doing yourself a disservice, and then you're doing all men a disservice, because all men have to suffer the consequences for that, whether you realize it or not. Women in general, walking around out here in the world who are single, do not make themselves available publicly because of these types of dynamics. And you can't convince me that that's something that's good for all men. So the more that we dial that back, I'm telling you, this is a theory of mine, but I believe it to be true. The more we dial this stuff back and become more strategic and tact with how we assert ourselves, the more women will loosen up and get warmed up to you to say what you say, and the easier it will be to meet them on a more regular basis. But until that happens, what we're going to have now is the defenders. You're going to constantly be double and triple teamed all the time, and that doesn't win championships. It doesn't win championships. It doesn't even really get you into the playoffs. Like, you're a ninth seed at that point. Yeah, you're not going to win championships. So it is what it is, man. You know, this stuff is more common than you realize. Like I know a lot of girls, and all they love talking to me about the dumb shit that guys do, and they give me enough of these stories that it makes me believe it happens more often than not, because they're not making it up. And if this many of them every day, I got a new one. I can get on the phone right now and probably text a girl I know. You know, if something happened to you with a dude recently, oh yeah, this guy, da, 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 every time.
Yeah.
So if it's enough that I can get stories like this every time, it happens with enough regularity that it's a situation that needs to be addressed.
I agree.
And you know, I don't serve social media enough, but I'm pretty sure that if I just put in hashtag gym harassment, I get hundreds of videos like this probably.
Mm-hmm.
So this is an indication of a larger social issue. And you know, it's no wonder we're sitting around, you know, talking about how women do this and women do that and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, okay, well, what are we doing? And what can we do furthermore to correct the issue? This is one of those things that we can do to correct the issue. But it's easier said than done, right? How do you just walk and tell a whole bunch of guys, hey, man, have better social skills and be patient and more tact? No one wants to hear that. No one wants to hear that. Like, these dudes don't want to hear that because they just want to get on, you know, Instagram and like and post comments all day. And then they basically are just living avatars in real life. And they walk around. Essentially what this guy did was he commented on an Instagram post in real life.
Right. Exactly.
That's what he did. Exactly. And we got so many of us who live through the prism of these mediums, and we just emulate the behavior in real life, walking around. Mm-hmm. This is what we got. Mm-hmm. So until there's less of this, yeah, it's going to seem like it's harder to meet women. And this is my opinion, but I think we as men have no one to blame but ourselves, for the most part, for creating this dynamic. Could women do better in certain respects? Absolutely. It's not a blanket statement, but we've done enough to cause the difficulty.
No, I agree. And for male shooting the percentage to be as low as it is because of the whole volume shooting thing, yeah, I agree with that. There does need to be. I agree. There does need to be a little bit more strategy. You know, because men are supposed to be strategic. And so that's part of our logic mindset, you know. And so we are supposed to be more strategic in how we handle these situations. And yeah, the lack of that and just blindly shooting shots and whatever sticks attitude, yeah, that does have an effect as well. And so, yeah, it makes it difficult for, you know, dudes out there that's actually really trying to do their thing. And now we're being restricted and held back because of bad faith actors. So yeah, it's definitely a social issue that does need to be addressed. I agree with that. But as we said in many streams before, the social atrophy that's going on due to levels of social media and reality TV shows, hell, even movies at this juncture, that are shaping the minds and the music. And that's shaping the minds of how people go about things or process information, then, you know, the guys like this, they will continue to exist. And like you say, the harassment at the gym, quote unquote, it won't stop. I've seen enough. I've been there. I mean, there's times where I'm shooting my shot in a location. I told you, like Line Love or something like that, where we're doing the line. Hell, it could be either in the club or something like that. And some guy is just too aggressive, way too thirsty. And it's just like, yeah. And I was like, who does this work on?
Yeah.
Who does this work on, bro? She just ran for the hills.
Mm-hmm.
So, and if it does work on a woman, what kind of woman is that?
Exactly. Yeah.
So, nah, fam, it's got to stop. And and again, man, if you somebody out there's like, yeah, bro, I be doing shit like that, I ain't gonna lie. It's like, okay, bro, just know that there's better ways. There's different ways to skin a cat, and ball rotation, keeping the ball moving, not hogging. You know what I'm saying? And not trying to score all at once. You're not going to get all at once. Again, if you want that, what kind of woman are you talking about? You more or less will have to pay for that, literally.
Right.
So it's a thing where, hey man, come in a little bit more chill, and less thirsty, bro. You're ruining it for the rest of us.
For real, man. I'm telling you, man. Listen. There are so many instances,
Mm-hmm.
and of course, it's my speculation, so I don't know it to be 100% unequivocally true.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm a pretty perceptive guy, and I'm very aware of my surroundings, and I observe people, and there are many times just throughout my daily life where I have encountered situations where I could tell that a woman was going out of her way to avoid giving me any kind of impression whatsoever that she wanted me to approach her. And I didn't have, and the thing is, I'm a strategian. So I have no intention of approaching you unless you are giving me subtle hints to let me know that that's something that you're interested in.
Exactly.
I don't do things blindly. So but the thing is, they've encountered this often enough that they just look at every guy as a mark. And so I have been in situations where I have seen women do this to me, where they are like moving in a certain kind of way or turn, or they're doing certain things that give me the signal right away that they are doing it on purpose, so that I don't even get the remote impression that they want me to assert myself. And I had no plans to do it anyway. I wasn't gonna do it. I'm minding my own business, but I could tell that they were doing that, and that shit comes from they aren't inherently that way. I'm telling you. I know a lot of y'all watch Fresh and Fit all the time, and some of these other podcasters, AMS and these other guys who basically want to have you believe that women are to blame for everything and that your lack of success is all due to women's nature. Contrary to your belief in that, that's not actually true. There are certain things these women have been encountering certain types of behavior over an extended period of time that have made them adjust their behavior accordingly in order to adapt and deal with it. Mm-hmm. And I have seen that affect me. So if it affects me, I know it affects every other guy too. And I'm not even the guy who's gonna walk up to a random chick in the grocery store and say something. I'm not even that guy, and it's affected me. So a lot of this stuff just needs to be dialed back.
Agreed.
But yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it for today, man. Appreciate everybody for tuning into this video. Definitely hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're watching this on the Facebook page, we still post there. Share the video, hit the like button, like the page as well. But the main thing is about the YouTube. We want to get the subscribers up. If you like the commentary in this video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button so you can get the notification whenever new content is posted to the channel. You can also follow Conscious Approach on Instagram at ConApproach, ConApproach. And you can also follow me on Instagram at JVWins, JVWINS. I certainly appreciate you supporting the channel. And as always, man, please continue to support logical content.
Yep. And the name is Dogon SS. You can find me on Instagram at Dogon_SS or on YouTube at Dogon SS or any other social media platform at Dogon_SS. That's me, man. All right. So as I say normally, man, don't be too high, don't be too low, man. Keep it neutral and keep it player, keep it chill, bro. And again, like for the topics that we discussed earlier, man, don't let the women get you out of pocket. So that's the too high, too low, right? The woman can get you too high too, bro. So don't be too high, don't be too low, man. Keep it chill, man, because everything will eventually come down to the mean. I mean, you know what I'm saying? And once it decides to do that, if you're too high on the spectrum, you're going to feel that. You know what I'm saying? So don't be too high, don't be too low, man, and just keep it chill, bro. So as always, man, stay safe out there, y'all. You know
Yeah. Facts. And until next time, man, we out of there. We'll see you later.
Peace.